Town of Crossfield regular council meeting to order Tuesday, November 5th at 7 p.m. We'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Indigenous peoples of Treaty 7 territory and the Otay-Mississauga Métis government, District 4. Respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our community. Okay, item 2.1. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? If there's none, can I get a motion?
Through Chair,
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion that the agenda be accepted as prepared.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 3.1, October 15th, 2024, regular council meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes? If those changes, can I get a motion?
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
I move that the minutes of the October 15th, 2024 regular council meeting be accepted as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 3.2, organizational meeting. Any changes to those minutes? Who would like to make a motion?
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
I motion that the minutes of the October 22, 2024 organization meeting minutes be amended under section 4.1. Council board and community appointments with the removal of the alternate under the Rocky View Foundation, as there are no alternates on that board as per the foundation's bylaws.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. And tonight, under 4.1, we have the Rocky View Foundation overview and contributions to the community. Welcome, Chris.
Good evening. My name is Chris Rowe, and I'm the CEO of Rocky View Foundation. I'm honored to be presenting tonight. Thank you for taking the time. We're an organization dedicated to providing affordable housing solutions in the Rocky View region. Tonight, I want to provide you with a bit of an update on some of our accomplishments over the past 18 months, some of the challenges we see in this region, in affordable housing, and share a few stories and discuss a few of our plans for the future. Rocky View Foundation is the housing management body for Rocky View County and municipalities Airdrie, Bicycle, Crossfield, Cochrane, Irricana, and we've been operating since 1964. Just over a year ago, we were able to open a new lodge in Airdrie, Abriel Place. We added 93 units to our lodge portfolio. This was a converted Hampton Inn, and within about 6 months, we saw it full. So that was an incredible boost to the foundation. About May of 2023, we also took over the delivery of the rental assistance benefit program on behalf of the province of Alberta. That was being delivered from Calgary beforehand, but being able to deliver it ourselves to focus on the county and its municipalities, we're able to increase not only the funding from 800,000 to 1.1 million, but also increase the number of people served from 65 to 145. And the rental assistance benefit program delivers assistance directly to the individuals and the families. It's a very quick way to help people with affordability. And we're also pursuing some new projects right now. We have some land in Bragg Creek. We're pursuing and got some seed funding to do some rezoning work and site development or site assessment on that, and also looking at land in Airdrie and Cochrane for more projects. So if I'm sure all of you hear about affordable housing in the news and the housing crisis that we're facing, not only in this country or this province, but also in this region. So just some of the challenges that we see on a day-to-day basis, specifically to our region. This isn't uncommon to the province or the country in general, but some of the things we see Vacancy rates, so rental market pressures, vacancy rates in this area went from about 6.6% in 2020 to 2.6% in 2023, and that's probably going to even come a little tighter in 2024. The reason why that's an important metric to follow is most economists agree 5 to 8% is a good balanced market for vacancy rates. Once you get under that, the availability for renters and the pressure on prices really pushes the rates too high. And we're seeing that on a daily basis as people come in looking for assistance. Income versus housing costs, another challenge that we have in Alberta. In 2022, 22% of Albertans were in core housing need. What that means, because a lot of these words are thrown around a lot, that means that 22% of Albertans pay more than 30% towards their housing costs. Again, most economists believe that low to middle income families and individuals, once you get over that 30% mark, you're spending a lot or too much, and you're impacting other needs that your finances go towards. Aging population. This is a rising. There's a rising need for senior specific housing. What I mean by that: accessible housing, one floor housing, barrier free housing. The demographics for seniors that continues to grow in our country and in this region, but the amount of senior specific housing doesn't keep pace with that population. And then also the insufficient new housing developments. Even though we've seen a lot of growth in our areas, especially in our county and municipalities, population continues to outstrip the developments. So these are some of the challenges that we see on a day-to-day basis, and a lot of numbers and a lot of stats there. But what I like to tell my team is behind all these stats, there's stories, and behind all these percentages, there's people. And the good part about working at Rocky View Foundation for me is on a daily basis, we get to see the impact that we're having within our community. Because I have a time limit, I will only share one story, but generally we look at like the different outcomes that we're having, the impact that we're having on people. We will hear stories from someone that will move out of a home that they've lived in for a long time and maybe a bit reluctant, and they move into one of our lodges or one of our manors, and we'll hear from the family even within a few weeks that they're seeing their dad or their mom healthier than they've been in a long time, happier than they've been in a long time, more connected with the community, less isolated than they have been in a long time. And so those are some of the really great things that we get to see on a day-to-day basis. There's one individual, his name's John, and he grew up in rural Alberta, worked trades, got married, didn't have kids, and over the decades, his extended families, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, all moved away. His wife unfortunately passed away, and he got to the point where he was about 70 years old. He was still working, but because of some health issues, he couldn't work anymore and found himself only living on government pension. Didn't think he'd ever find himself in this position. In this position, he realized financially he couldn't afford his rent anymore because it had just gone up. And so he had to make a decision that summer, and that was he was going to live in his car. And so that's what he did. He decided he was going to live in his car. So he moved into his car with the plan that come fall, winter, once the temperatures started dropping, he'd find somewhere to live, save up during the summer. Fall came, temperatures dropping, he started looking, and he found two real problems that we face all the time, or see people facing all the time, is if he made the call and call after call after call, place had already gone, the place had already gone, the place had already gone. And if he could get through, usually the place was too much money. Just through our networks and our teams, how they work in our communities, he found out about one of our lodges and made that call and asked the first of two hard questions. A, do you have anything available, right? And we did have some units available. He was excited. And then he asked the second question, the dreaded question, how much? And because our lodge works on a rent geared to income basis, our team took him through what that meant. And he really quickly realized this was not only a place that was available, but a place that he could afford. And he came down as quick as he could, took a tour of this facility, interviewed with our staff, and signed on the dotted line. Within a few weeks, his car that he was living in before was now parked in front of the lodge, and he was becoming quickly a big part of the community at our lodge. He now actually takes other residents to their medical appointments and shopping appointments in the car that he lived in just months before. And you know, it's stories like that that really tell the impact and the need of housing and affordable housing in our area. And I could go on, but just moving forward and looking forward, some of the things that we want to do is more. We want to make more stories like John's. So two of the focuses that we have in the coming few years is maintaining our safe and secure facilities. So really looking after the assets that we currently have. So putting together a real comprehensive capital maintenance plan to ensure that our facilities remain top notch over the next number of years, and look for new opportunities, look for more housing opportunities, and to pursue and build partnerships within our communities. I want to say affordable housing is not just about providing shelter. It's about creating opportunities for a better life. The work we do at RVF is crucial for building stronger, more resilient communities. If you hear anything tonight, I want you to hear this. We don't do it alone. Rocky View Foundation doesn't do this alone. We are incredibly supported by the communities that we serve in, by the municipalities that we serve in our region, including Crossfield. I want you to hear this as well. The stories that we have and the stories that we share are not just Rocky View Foundations. It's the stories of Crossfield and Airdrie and Cochrane and Bicycle and Irakan and Rocky View County. It's all of our stories. And so as CAO, I want to say thank you for your support. Thank you for being a part of the ability to make some incredible life change and making a lasting difference in the lives of many in our area. And that's my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions. I might have to come back to you. I don't have all the answers off the top of my head, but look forward to discussing how we can continue to work to address the affordable housing in our community.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris. Questions for Chris?
Yeah, through the chair.
Go ahead.
Hey, Chris, thank you for your presentation. You guys do a wonderful thing. It is very well valued in the communities. I kind of have a little bit of a statement and then I have a question for you. Okay. So Airdrie's past project was substantially over budget, to which was billed back to the surrounding municipalities. This practice is difficult on the smaller municipalities who struggle with lower government funding and a lower tax base. And so we do our budgets in the fall, and then when we get that extra bill, generally in the spring, it's harder to, when you've already got your budget allocated, to try to find those extra funds somewhere else, which means we're taking away from something we've already budgeted for. So to my question, is so for future projects, what precautions is the foundation going to take to make sure that you stay on budget? So it so much doesn't get billed back to the municipalities.
Absolutely.
Question, sorry.
No, and you know what's a fair question. I can speak little to what's happened in the past, but I will speak to what will happen in the future. We'll have a far more robust project management, far more robust budgeting process, far more robust pro forma, and better communication. I think that's a really key part to this. And I don't want to speak to what happened before I came. That's not fair. So I want to promise what we'll do. My background is finance, and so budgets, pro formas are very important to me, and I'm very close to them. And I think that it is unfair to have surprises. As much as I can promise, obviously we don't have crystal balls, but as much as I can promise, we will stick to budget in the future. And if there is something, then we need to have those discussions way ahead of time, not after the fact.
Great, thank you. Any other questions?
The chair.
Go ahead, Counselor Knight.
In your notes here, it talks about a 4% increase in the population of seniors. Just curious, I know you've mentioned the whole Bragg Creek idea. Like any of the existing places right now have room for expansion or like is the 5-year goal or 10-year goal to say, we'll try to make that difference up for the populations and seniors, or what's sort of the visionary look for? I don't know if some of the areas can be expanded alone, or is it just Bragg Creek there? What's sort of I know we can't do it all, but give kind of the citizens of the town here, kind of what maybe a vision would be if it's just Bragg Creek or what it look like to kind of shrink that gap of what's out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, with affordable housing in our region, we're way behind. And when I say way behind, we're about 0.5% of affordable housing. In Canada, the percentage of affordable housing in any community is about 3.5 to 4%. So we're way behind the percentage of affordable housing, and that's small for most, developed countries. So our goal is, my goal is to get as many irons in the fire as possible. And that's not because we can do it all, but the way the funding works nowadays is as much as our provincial and federal, your provincial and federal counterparts make a lot of big announcements, accessing that funding is a bit hit and miss. So if we can have more projects shovel ready and have a good funding process, then we'll have more projects able to go forward. So that's the goal. I don't know if that answers your question.
No,
but
that
yeah.
gives me an idea, but none of the other areas that we have, there's nothing that you could ever expand with land or lots locations that you have right now, eh?
Yeah, no, that's hilarious because my team probably it sees me zone out when I do site visits because I'll look at like land and say who owns that land, what are we doing with this parcel, what if we converted this? Yeah, no, there's a lot of different ideas like that, and I welcome part of why I'm got to all our municipalities is looking for the partnership. So if you ever see a piece of land and go, hey, yeah, that could be really great for affordable housing, just send it my way and we'll dive into it and see if it's a possibility.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Excellent. Any other questions? I have a couple, if you don't mind, Chris. What is the percentage, and it could vary, but between Airdrie, Cochrane, and Crossfield of seniors that are in the lodges or in the facilities that are local to here compared to people that may be out of province or not from the area?
Yeah. So we have been starting to track this a lot more. I don't have any historical numbers for you. Right now, I can say it's about 75 to 77% that we can figure out because there's a lot of different ways to look at it. It's like, so the way we're looking at it is, have people ever been in this area? I've spent at least 5 years in this area, spent more than 10 years in this area. So people that have spent more than 10 years in this area, but 75 to 77% of our residents have spent 10 or more years in this area.
Okay, and that's across the board. Like, okay, great. That sounds good.
Which is it's a hard number to pull, right? Because we don't want to be too ask every resident, okay, what's your history?
Yeah, I just feel that it's important for our seniors to be where their family is.
Yeah.
So they have that consistent interaction.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a budget increase for 2025 from the foundation? And if there is, have you sent notification out to the municipalities?
So I'm presenting our budget to the board in November. That's our budget time to present. My goal is to not have an increase this year. Actually, possibly a bit of a decrease if we can find some more efficiencies. So.
Okay, just asking because we're going through budget deliberations.
Yeah.
Now in
And
the
I
next
can
week or so.
communicate to Justin.
Yep.
The projected numbers, yeah,
Okay, yeah, communicate with Counselor Gustafson.
yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. And just a little awareness about aligning with municipal budgets.
Yeah.
So typically we do them November, December. We're trying to get them done for Crossfield. I know for Airdrie in November. So if we can align with that, it just really helps us out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome.
No, and I appreciate that feedback, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't always know, so.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it for questions. So I just want to thank you for the work that you do. It's really important for our communities to look after our seniors, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, if there aren't any questions, can I get a motion?
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
I motion that the Rocky View Foundation presentation be accepted for information.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Drive safe. Okay, presentation number 2, item 4.2, digital economy program. Norma Lang, contracted EDO.
Worry about it in a minute. Good evening, Mayor Harris and Council. I'm here to share a good news story with you this evening. It's our final report on Crossfield's participation in the now concluded Digital Economy Program. So it was almost exactly 3 years ago in the late fall of 2021, Crossfield was approached by Community Futures, Center West out of Cochrane, who have a mandate to build local economies and have a geographic service area that includes Crossfield. They were in receipt of a grant to fund a digital economy program for the region. If you think back to what was happening in the fall of 2021, our communities were reeling from the negative impacts on businesses during the pandemic. Local economies were in the early phase of recovery. It was in this space of time that Community Futures conceived of a program to support struggling local small businesses in a meaningful way. So during the pandemic, big box retailers, along with corporate and commercial franchises, developed technology and digital marketing tools to market and sell products and services to consumers in the face of shutdowns and social distancing requirements. They were able to do that. It came with a lot of cost and complexity, but the net result for small businesses, like many of our small local businesses in Crossfield, was that they kind of got left behind. Funding for the Digital Support Services Program was conceived by Government of Alberta and Federal Prairie's Canadian Economic Development Fund. And they worked through local government agencies like Business Link and Digital Main Street to provide a funding option. Community Future Center West in Cochrane successfully applied to the program and received funding to take a regional project forward. So Community Futures sought interest around the region and secured several municipal partners, the City of Airdrie, the District of Kananaskis, Canmore, Cochrane, Rocky View County, and Crossfield. So each community supported the project with a cash contribution, just a small amount, just so that everybody had skin in the game. And they had to assign a designated staff person, which in our case was myself. Each staff person attended monthly project meetings and introduced the digital support squad to qualified businesses in our communities and marketed the program and participation in the program along with workshops. Jody Eckert from Community Futures was the project lead and used the grant and contribution funds to hire a team of digital marketing experts. So these were a group, there was always about 4 to 6 of them, and they were 13, oh my goodness, 18 to 35-year-old, so young professionals starting their careers in the digital economy, and they were hired and trained so that they could provide one-on-one support to businesses who chose to participate in the program. And the businesses who were qualified, so just in our community as an example, we did have interest from some of the commercial franchises, and they weren't allowed to participate. It had to be small local businesses that weren't part of a franchise or some larger network that probably already had invested in the digital economy. They had to be small and have staff between 2 to 50 people. And what was provided was one-on-one free digital support. So during phase 1 of the project, which was January 2022 to March 31st, 2023, through the region, 180 small businesses were served. And in phase 2, it was very successful. So Community Futures was able to go back and get more money, a second grant. So from April 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2024, we rolled the project forward. And for each phase, each community had a target goal set for their community size and their financial contribution. So it certainly wasn't a competition, but Crossfield kind of kicked butt in the first phase. We did really well. We met our target where the other communities kind of struggled to do that. In the second phase, digital support squad staff were directed to set more realistic targets for each of the communities, but really to focus on sort of catching up the communities that didn't fare quite as well in the first phase. But in the second phase, we did very well again and achieved our target range of businesses. So the types of support that were provided were things like social media support, digital marketing, developing or boosting online presences, upgrading websites, and content creation. Workshops was an idea that came about because really at the beginning of the project, as we were out there kind of stomping the pavement and trying to generate interest in the program, a lot of businesses were a little bit suspicious about like, why are they trying to help me for free? Because we all know IT supports are expensive. So we conceived the idea of doing some workshops just to sort of bring people together in a group and provide them with some supports. So Crossfield, we had hosted 4 workshops, and they became a good way to connect with some businesses, and then those businesses often became the customers of the program and worked one-on-one with the support squad. So in January 2023, we did a workshop called Thrive Online and Elevate Your Business. September 2023, we did Navigating Online Success. February 2024, Reels for Your Business, and that was the most popular one we did with the highest attendance. And then in August 2024, we instructed businesses that came on how to use Meta Business Suite. And then the Digital Support Squad team over the course of the project, there was about 8 of them, and one of them was from our community. I don't know if anybody knows Lanny Clarkson, but she was one of the Digital Support Squad, WG Murdoch grad and dynamite young lady. Included in your council meeting package, I did provide you with a copy of the final report that Jody Eckert put together. And this has a section in it that's specifically about Crossfield. So the report, there probably isn't time to go through the whole thing. So I do welcome, if you do have questions now or in the future, you can always reach out to me. The report provides detailed descriptions of the services provided and the workshops offered. And the report ends with some testimonials from a few participating businesses. And I'm just going to read one out loud for you. So this is a business in Crossfield called Aspire Personal Achievement, Gary Poyer. And he wrote, "Thanks again for asking me for my feedback. I learned a lot from Lanny. My business was established in July of 2013, so I've been in business for 11 years. Lanny and I worked on a lot of different things as my competence in digital marketing and usage was somewhat limited. Lanny helped me to create a new logo, and she taught me new things with Canva. She helped me to understand my target market regarding the demographics and gave me a much better understanding of how to properly use LinkedIn when it comes to content publishing. The thing I found most valuable about the program was gaining a better grasp of the importance of digital marketing and that it is not so hard to do if I'm willing to spend time and learn how to use the tools out there. And so if I can get my computer to work here, just wanted to show you some examples. Not work. My main screen, but anyway, I'll just have to give you some homework and you can look at them yourselves. But I was going to show you on Google, a lot of businesses in Crossfield had 360-degree photos taken of their businesses by the Digital Support Squad. And so if you go on to Google and you search for businesses like Red Tartan or Sharpest Steel come to mind, you can actually see 360-degree pictures inside and outside of the businesses. So we've really leveled up our Crossfield profile on Google through this program. Some of our businesses, and this is worth taking a look at if you get a chance to go to Jennifer Watson's website, Crossfield Dental Hygiene. She's become very adept at putting together reels from our reels workshop. And she's doing them regularly. And she has a really good reel, a long one on her website that she actually got some professional support to put together. But she's just out there making reels where she goes to the Crossfield Christmas Craft Market. She made a reel. Some of our businesses, like the Crossfield Chamber is one example where they have now got their website e-commerce enabled. Some of the things they learned at one of the workshops. And you can pay for a chamber membership online now. And yeah, those are just some examples. So Crossfield was very fortunate to be included in the digital economy program. 24 of our small businesses received free one-on-one digital marketing training. And additionally, 41 unique participants in the workshops received tips and training to navigate online tools and acquired skills and knowledge to level up their participation in the digital economy. And so our recommendation is just that council make a motion to accept the report, but also to send a letter to Community Futures, thanking them for their leadership and including Crossfield.
Great, thanks, Norma. Really good. Questions for Norma? Councilor Brennan.
Good evening, Norma. I was just curious if you could help me understand kind of like the time commitment that businesses threw in for this, like how much time out of their day did they have to, or did they get to put into this? Kind of get, what did that look like? And then how hands-on did the team members get with the businesses?
Sure, that's a great question. Through the chair, I'll respond to that. So each business that participated got up to 15 hours of free digital support. And I'd say that for every hour of one-on-one support that was provided to them, they probably spent about 2 or 3 hours each 1 hour of free support, really digging in and doing some of the work on their own. So a lot of times what happened was the person supporting them would come and teach them how to do some things, but not necessarily do all of it for them.
Right.
So they would have had to, they would learn how to maybe develop a website using a specific tool. And then the digital support squad person would lean out, let them have some time to work on that themselves.
Right.
Lean in to support them with any questions or wonderings.
Just checking in and yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Great, well, thanks, Norma. I've received some feedback from a couple of businesses and some that attend the farmers market on a regular basis. And this program has really helped them out. They're so proud of being a part of the workshop and what they can do now with the tools that they've received. So, that was a really good workshop. So thank you for that. And I would say yes to sending Community Futures
a letter saying, you know, what a great program it was. So if you guys draft something up, I'd be happy to sign it upon council approval. So if there isn't any more questions for Norma, can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Council Brennan.
I move that I move the council accept the digital economy program final report for information and direct administration to send a letter expressing council appreciation to Community Futures for leading a successful initiative.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thanks for the update. Okay, item 5.1, Crossfield District Recreation Board fall funding. Director Nash,
Through the chair, do I have to step out of this? Is that in one of the ones that
pardon me,
presented?
what?
Do I gotta step out of this one? Because my one year presented?
It's basically for an update,
Just.
so I think you should be okay.
Well, it is a recommendation to approve funding. So I think you can hear it, you just may have to.
Hear it and then step out for vote.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Harris.
Hear it, listen to it, and then step out for vote. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, on Monday, October 28th, the Crossfield Recreation Board met to review and make recommendations for the fall funding stream. There was a total of $49,959 that was requested from 8 different groups, while a total of $23,083.09 was being recommended for funding at this time by the Recreation Board. Attached to the report are the recommendations for the funding. You'll see that most received some funding. There are 2 groups that were recommended at this time for no funding. One of them being the board wanted a little more information on some of the projects they're working on, as well as the other one had some outstanding funds that hadn't been spent yet. So they wanted to ensure that that was those funds were spent before providing any more funding. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Hey, questions for Director Nash? Okay, then at this time, yep, see you in a few minutes, Mike. We'll try to remember to get you back in the room. Okay, perfect. If there's no questions, can I get a motion?
Through the chair,
Go ahead, Councillor Lambert.
I'll make the motion that council approve the Crossfield and District Recreation Board's fall funding recommendations as presented.
Hey, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Are you gonna bring him back in?
Yeah. I guess.
You like to leave me out.
Yeah, I guess we will.
You went to sleep out there.
We were gonna vote to see if we let you back in or not. That's right. All right, item 6.1, noise bylaw. The other Director Nash.
Good evening, council. As council is aware, the town of Crossfield recently updated our noise bylaw under the exemption and exception section to include that the town vehicles and equipment used to clear snow and ice, sweep, wash, and or remove debris from town roadways, highways, and boulevards or town premises are exempt from the noise bylaw. However, it has recently been noted that our existing bylaw does not have any provisions within the bylaw for the CAO or their delegate to provide a relaxation to the noise bylaw. Administration has researched other municipalities' noise bylaws to determine if other municipalities provide a relaxation or exemption on a case-by-case basis to complete snow clearing by external parties, town community events, programmings, etc. After reviewing the data collected, administration is recommending the following additions to the noise bylaw. Adding a definition of a permitting officer, which would be the CAO or their delegate who would be responsible to issue and coordinate a noise exemption permit. And then following under section 7 exemptions and exceptions, we would add a section with regard to temporary permits and outlining the application information that would be required if somebody wanted to apply for a relaxation to the noise bylaw. And administration is recommending that all three readings be given tonight.
Great, thank you. Questions for Director Nash?
Through the chair.
Counselor Lambert?
Lindsay, is there a fee to apply for a permit for an exemption?
Currently, no.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any further questions? Any discussion? No. Okay. Then can I get a motion for first reading?
Through the chair,
Counselor Gustafson, go ahead.
I'll move that bylaw 2024-06P being the noise bylaw be given first reading.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Anyone want to give a motion for second reading?
Through the chair. I'll make the motion that bylaw 2024-06 being the noise bylaw be given second reading. Read tonight.
Okay, and motion for third reading?
In favor?
You might want
We need to,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And third reading,
to, through the chair.
Counselor Lambert.
I'll make the motion that bylaw 2024-06 being the noise bylaw be brought forward for third reading with unanimous consent.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. And final motion,
Through the chair,
Counselor Brennan.
I move that bylaw 2024-06 being the noise bylaw be given third and final reading.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you for bringing that forward. Appreciate that. Okay, on to council reports. I attended the rec board meeting last week. I also had the opportunity to talk to you about 6 different ministers this weekend. Specifically, a good conversation with Minister Schultz on invasive species and any potential grants that they may have. Apparently, their invasive species grant is not closed or is still available. She said, give her office a call and we can chat further about what that looks like. The other part of that conversation was, if, Calgary, Airdrie and Crossfield along the Nose Creek takes care of our portion, what is the province doing to take care of their portion? Because if we clean up our ponds and everything else, even with the screens on there, there's chances that they could get back in. So what's the province going to do to clean up Nose Creek as a whole? So still a conversation to be had, but it was a good chat with Minister Schultz for sure. We had a mayor's mid-sized town caucus meeting to talk about our plan moving forward with our meeting with Premier Smith for funding. And I attended the Christmas market, which was fabulous. Loved it. Deputy Mayor Fox.
I also attended the rec board meeting last week, and on Monday, Mayor Harris and I will be laying the wreath on behalf of the town of Crossfield.
Councillor Brennan.
I actually have nothing further to report.
Councillor Gustafson.
Nothing further to report on my.
Councillor Knight.
Nothing further to report.
Councillor Lambert.
Nothing to report.
And Councillor Bang.
Just that I attended the Christmas market as well at all 4 venues, and they did a really good job of it, and it was really good.
What'd you get for me?
Oh, nothing.
Same thing you got
Man.
for the rest of us.
No, you have to wait and then you get.
That's disappointing. All right, thank you. Can I get a motion?
The chair.
Go ahead, Councillor Knight.
I motion that council reports be accepted as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, item 8.1, Department Director updates. Director of Community and Protective Services, Russ Nash.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. I guess before you have our monthly update, touch on a few items. As many people have seen, we do have some new temporary fencing that has been installed at the dog park on Western Drive, which has allowed us to create 2 separate spaces for large and small dogs. The new dog park area on Lot Avenue has been cleared and dirt spread. Unfortunately, we did miss the window to seed the area for this year, but that will be completed in the spring. The new park signs are being worked on, and we should see some hopefully being installed here over the coming weeks. So looking forward to seeing those. With the fire department, we are working on the fire services agreement with the Rocky View County. It does expire on December 31st of this year. This agreement will be coming forward to council in a meeting in December for approval. So you will be seeing that. The fire department is also working with the town's community services department to offer a car seat clinic on November 25th at the fire hall. Firefighter Beth Gabriel is certified to perform car seat checks, and she will be leading that program. With municipal enforcement, unfortunately, we've still yet to find a suitable candidate for the level 1 community peace officer position. New advertising has been put out to continue with that recruitment. And that's about all the big things for me. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Great, thank you. Questions for Director Nash?
Through the chair. Sorry, Director Nash, you didn't mention about the floors at the hall being replaced finally. I do have a question pertaining to that.
Sure.
Are they just doing the wood portion, or are they going to get rid of the carpet too?
This project is just to refinish the wood.
Okay.
The carpet, I believe, is in the capital plan coming to council. I can't remember the year, but it is being looked at. It was replaced in, I want to say 2017, 18, somewhere in there. But yeah, it has taken a bit of a beating.
Curiosity question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but it is on the capital plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions?
Through the chair. No,
Counselor
it's not
Gustafson.
not a question. It's just more of a comment on our, or have we got to it yet about the amount of medical calls that our fire team is still going to, but like close to 40% still, according to the numbers. But I know it's never going to go away. I just wish that AHS would give us some more support for the amount of medical calls that we do have to handle with our limited team of firefighters that we have here.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. Like, I'm unsure if there's been a lot of changes since we made changes to that policy or bylaw. I can't remember which one it was, but it seems like our fire department still responds. Even if at times, even if AHS or the ambulance is more than, what did we say, 15, 17 minutes
Less
away?
than 30 minutes. away.
Less than 30.
Less than 30,
Yes.
Yeah.
less than 30. So I think we're still responding to some of those.
If I can clarify that, that was
Please.
only for alphas and bravos.
Alphas and Bravo.
That's
And
right.
select
Alpha and Bravo,
Charlies.
yeah.
So we have seen a reduction in those calls. Very few of those ones are being responded to now. The majority, or pretty well all of them now, are the higher, the more emergent calls for the deltas, echoes, the more serious calls. So, but yes, there is still, roughly about 40% of the calls being responded to as medicals. So
And I'm not complaining. I just wish that AHS would notice this, and you know, are they even looking at, you know, the issues that we have here? You know, we have limited resources that to take these calls. So
right. Yeah, and I guess we'll see what comes here. I know they were supposed to be working on the I don't know what you call it, the funding that they provide. If council recalls, I believe we got around $7,700 in 2024. And they base, or they I believe they take into account the more serious incidents that our departments would be responding to. So now moving forward with how we change the levels of service, it should be more representative of the calls that we are actually attending. So
yeah. Mayor, if I may make a suggestion, I know we've been talking to some ministers, maybe be adding that one to our list as well.
I just made a note to that. I'll talk to
figured you
Minister
did.
LaGrange for sure.
Yeah.
The other thing I would like to maybe add to that is when we built that fire hall, we built a bay for an ambulance. Has administration done any follow-up with AHS to see where's the ambulance that's dedicated to that bay?
Through the chair, I believe we had sent an email to. I'm trying to remember. My apologies. I can't remember if I actually spoke to somebody or if it was an email chain. We did talk to somebody, but we didn't get much of an answer out of them on that. So we'll have to follow up again.
Okay, follow up again, and I'd be happy to follow up with Minister LaGrange.
Will do.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Director Nash. We can get Director of Operations up. Steve.
And good evening, Council. Steve Altina, to give the Infrastructure Community Growth update tonight from the Operations Department. Obviously, we've been seeing some snow over the last day or so, and a little bit last week on October 21st. So the crews have been out sanding and graveling the streets with the warm weather after October 21st. The streets were swept to remove some of the sand and gravel. Operations has been responding to the Lot Avenue Railway crossing. Council and residents may have noted there's been some issues with that crossing. We had a concrete panel shoved up a couple weeks ago that CP came out and repaired, and then over the past couple days, there's been some more issues with the crossing. So I noticed some of their fixes the other day are still having some issues, so we continue to work with CP on that issue at the railroad crossing. So we're very aware of that concern there. On the water wastewater side, the annual release of treated effluent from the storage pond started on Friday, and it will run till November 21st. Due to the presence of our invasive Prussian carp in the pond, the release is being conducted by pumping rather than the standard gravity release. So we have two 6-inch pumps out working on the ponds 24/7 right now. Once the storage pond is lowered enough, there's a faulty valve in the outlet that will be replaced. And staff are currently exploring options to install screens or other infrastructure to prevent the entrance and exit of fish from the pond through the outlet. Infrastructure of the rodeo grounds and RV dumps have been winterized. So essentially all of operations have gotten ready for the winter. Now we continue to work with the town's engineers to assess a sanitary conveyance system. This item will come before council later this fall for further discussion. We are working with our engineers also to develop a scope for the receiving stream analysis that was recommended as part of the wastewater feasibility study that was presented to council in July. That study will essentially identify the parameters for future releases into Nose Creek to deal with our effluent disposal concerns. From the Planning and Development Department update, in your report there, we've shown a number of statistics just on planning and development applications that were received in 2024. I think of note is that we've received, according to this report, 67 applications on new homes. Is actually 70 now as of today on new homes. So we're seeing good growth on the new homes side of things. 15 home occupation permits and 10 sign permits. We continue to work with Urban Systems to refine the municipal development plan, and this item will return to council in early 2025. One update that unfortunately did not make the cut into the final report here was that CAO Barney and myself met with TELUS and their partners, and they plan to initiate a pure fiber project in Crossfield in 2025. This would make pure fiber available to all the homes and businesses within the town. The installation would occur throughout the town, although new areas like Vista Crossing are already equipped with the infrastructure. Construction would be roughly from May to November next year, and we'll update council as we know more details on that project. And that's it for me. Happy to take any questions.
Great questions. It's my understanding on the fiber from TELUS that there would be the option for like the services would go right up to the property line or right up to the house, but people would have the option to tap into the TELUS fiber and buy into that or not.
Yeah, to the mayor, that's correct. So they approach each resident individually. And if that resident does not want the service, then the infrastructure is essentially coiled and left in a box at the property line there. And then should a future homeowner want to have that service, it is then connected up to the house. So yes, it is an option.
Excellent, thank you. All right,
If there's no other questions, then thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Okay, Director Nash. Director of Corporate Services.
Council. Over the month of October, administration had 474 interactions with residents, which was slightly up from September. And again, main interactions involve taxes, utility payments, inquiries, the RFP for collection and disposal of residential waste closed on October 31st, and we had 5 RFPs received. Administration is just currently reviewing the submissions and will bring back a report to the next council meeting. After sending out the outstanding tax notification letters in September, administration has received payments on 47 of the 123 outstanding accounts. So it's a good thing, getting some money in. The November tax sale date will not be proceeding as the property owner has entered into a payment arrangement with the town. And administration has also collected payment in full for 2 past due accounts that would have been also tax sale for next year. Administration continues to do extensive work on the budget with the development of the council budget deliberations scheduled for next week. Your packages will be ready on Friday. The interim audit prep is continuing and they will be in the office next week. And we have finalized the extended producer responsibility. We keep going back with information. So hopefully we'll have an agreement ready for them already. They'll have an agreement ready for us soon. And the year-end audit is scheduled for March 24th to April 4th.
Thank you.
Mine's short and sweet.
Any questions for Director Nash? No, I'm just curious, did you find anything out about if we received anything from Rockview County on their decision for the 2A speed limit? I know they've made a decision, it's been in the paper.
I have not physically received any paper or notification from them
Okay,
yet.
all right.
So
And,
once I get it, I will be bringing it over to council.
okay, great. That sounds good. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no further questions, can I get a motion for item 8.1?
To the chair,
Councilor Brennan,
I move that the department director updates be accepted as presented.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 8.2, outstanding items list. Director Nash.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. Yes, so quick update on the outstanding action list. As Lindsay mentioned, the tax sale is not going to be happening as the homeowner entered into repayment. So item number 037, we would be asking to remove that item off of the list. And then item 024, which is tax sale lands of 1316 and 1318 Railway Street. Operations has included a phase 2 environmental assessment within the 2025 budget, proposed budget, to determine what land contamination is present, and if any, and then confirm with AE on what could be developed on those lands. So administration is requesting to provide the time to get this done and to support the land use discussions in early 25 as well. We'd be asking to move this item forward to Q1 of 2025.
Great. Questions?
Through the chair,
Councilor Gustafson.
I'm guessing the phase 1's already been done. And we have documentation on the phase 1 and when it was done, if we're moving to a phase 2.
I just believe so. Lindsay might not, or do you have more information on that? I apologize. I don't have all the information on this.
That's okay. I'm guessing if we're going to a phase 2, there's already been a study that there's a possible contamination to the site. So
Through the chair, there has been no, to our knowledge, a phase 1 completed on that site. There is documentation within there that there has been some background environmental testing on there, and noted that there is potential contamination. So rather than doing a phase 1 we'll just go right to the
Yeah.
phase 2.
okay, I was just clarifying that.
Yeah.
I guess
Mhm.
we're just gonna
Just pass that.
and we have that already in you had a budgetary line for that as well.
Correct, yeah, and it'll be
Okay.
coming forward next week.
Okay.
For you to see.
Yep.
Okay, any other question? I just have one. I don't know if anybody can answer it, but does that site fall into brownfield? And is there any provincial funding that we could use to clean up that site once the assessment's done? If you don't have the answer, I'm happy if you email all of council with that answer.
Please.
Okay, if there's no other questions, can I get a motion on the outstandings list?
Through the chair,
Counselor Knight,
I'll motion that the department direct updates be accepted as presented.
all in favor? Motion carried. There's no further,
You
Wait a minute.
you need the
No.
next one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you to do the whole.
yeah, I did that already, so that's my fault. Yeah, I motion that the item
Yes.
037 be removed from the outstanding items and item 24 will be moved to Q1 2025, allowing time for administration to have phase 2 environmental completed on all lands.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, there's no additional correspondence and upcoming events and programs can be found on crossfield.ca website. That brings us to adjournment. Who would like to make a
Chair.
motion?
Sorry, through the chair, I'll make the motion to adjourn at 8:05.